Hey guys, and welcome to another Mirror Cup PvP video, and in this video we're going through my online Mirror Cup Twilight tournament. So this is my second tournament of the month, so if you haven't seen my other Twilight video then go check that out. I'll link that in the description below, and let's just get into it. So we've got my team here of Toxicroak, Golbat, Venusaur, Azumarill, Tyranitar and Mr. Mime. So if you haven't seen my other videos then definitely go check that out, you'll know all about Mr. Mime. He's a fantastic under the radar pick, beats Toxicroak and his counters. So anyway, first round our opponent here is Beck Moon. So running Alolan Marowak, Frostlass, Mr. Mime, my man! Beck Moon actually did say that she watched my video, saw Mr. Mime in action and brought it onto the team, so absolutely fantastic. And then Toxicroak, Honchkrow and Venusaur. So definitely some interesting picks there. Honchkrow is one that I don't think I've seen outside of this tournament play. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, let's just get into those battles. So Mr. Mime versus Toxicroak in the lead, absolutely fantastic. We've got the Switch logo, the Switch field, the switching thing up, expecting for the Toxicroak to leave straight away. So Beck Moon does switch out into Alolan Marowak, which wasn't a terrible matchup, but he does have Shadow Ball, so we ran away from that, and we switched into Azumarill and took that Bone Club. So Alolan Marowak is not going to be able to do anything to Azumarill basically, so we're just going to bubble him down and have heaps of energy at the end to go into the next Pokemon with. So that is the benefit of getting a good lead. The opponent has to switch out first, and then you can switch out into a counter. So this will be another Bone Club, won't do much at all. We are still in the green, and we have tons of energy ready to go onto the next Pokemon. So throwing that Ice Beam straight away, and it is the Toxicroak, so we didn't want to let Toxicroak get a charge move off. We'll see if Beck Moon decides to shield or not, does burn that shield, and we are able to get another Ice Beam off, which is absolutely, it's just crazy. And we'll see if she decides to shield, and she lets that one go through, which is definitely the right move there. Brings in Honchkrow, which definitely an interesting pick in the meta. Azumarill will be able to do that super effective damage with Ice Beam, so we'll presumably take the last shield here. Kinda has to when you've got that last Pokemon. Oh, is it not super effective? Oh, because Honchkrow is also Dark type, but Honchkrow does faint us down here with Dark Pulse, but we do still have, actually brought in Mr. Mime with the Shadow Ball ready. Also could have brought in Tyranitar, which would have had the super effective quick moves, and that pretty much takes down Honchkrow. One more confusion and Honchkrow does go down. So into the second battle. So Mr. Mime versus Frostlass, another good matchup. We will have to burn some shields, which is definitely a downside of Mr. Mime. Frostlass is going to get to those avalanches, expecting an avalanche here, and we will have to shield. So it is a Shadow Ball, either way, we really need to shield all charge moves. So we were thinking about fainting down the quick moves, but we were a bit worried that Beck Moon would be able to get to another charge move, so just threw the Shadow Ball, but did actually burn the shield. And we are actually able to faint down with confusions with 1 HP left, so that's an absolutely fantastic spot for us because it means we get switch advantage. So Honchkrow comes in and we get to bring in Tyranitar. Perfect Honchkrow counter, absolutely destroying it. Switches out into Mr. Mime, so we switch out into Azumarill. Both situations are actually pretty good. Tyranitar and Azumarill are basically both counters to Honchkrow and Mr. Mime. This is basically Mr. Mime's hardest two counters here, so sorry Mr. Mime for not giving you your time in the sun. But yeah, this is definitely not a great spot. That Shadow Ball will do a lot of damage to Azumarill, but Azumarill should be able to get to another Ice Beam, and that would finish off the Mr. Mime. Down goes Mr. Mime, and then Honchkrow comes back in. I was actually looking to switch out into Tyranitar immediately, but Honchkrow faints down Tyranitar. Tyranitar comes in, does one quick attack, and that is GG's. So thank you Beck Moon for the battles, and thank you for using Mr. Mime, because that is really cool. So into round 2, we're up against Jim2504. He's got Alolan Muck, Umbreon, Frostlass, Golbat, Wigglytuff, and Nidoqueen. So definitely another really interesting team, so let's just see how it goes. So we brought in Tyranitar in the lead, and we're up against Wigglytuff. Absolutely awful lead matchup, so we have to switch out of there straight away. We switch into Azumarill, and after a few more charms, switches out into Golbat. So these Ice Beams are actually going to do some really good damage up against Golbat, so Golbat will get to those Poison Fangs, which are super effective pretty quick. But yeah, because I have the energy advantage too, I'm really going to get these Ice Beams going off. So we'll see if he decides to burn that second shield, and decides to burn the second shield, which it just doesn't show when you're both getting charge moves off at the same time, if that's new. So yeah, that Poison Fang, we shield that up, And then another Poison Fang coming off here, so I think we might let it come through. No, it does burn that shield, so really gonna try and get this Ice Beam off, but I think he can get to a Poison Fang before. No, but under tapping, got that Ice Beam off, which is, again, fantastic. I feel like I'm overusing that word, but stuff is really going well for us until here where Golbat just lives on with that 1 HP. He's able to get that massive Poison Fang off. But actually it might pay off because I get that bubble off and now Azumarill is pretty low, so whatever he brings in won't be able to farm up Azumarill too much. So it brings in Wigglytuff. Would be nice to get a charge move off, but nothing we can do there. So gonna bring in Golbat here, I would imagine, to try and get a Poison Fang off. So yeah, that's the idea. So, and then switching into Tyranitar to try and eat that charge move. So we'll definitely see if that pays off. Send that Ice Beam, Tyranitar pretty much goes down, one more Smackdown, and then in comes the Golbat who's going to be able to get that Poison Fang off. I don't think it's enough to faint down the Wigglytuff though. Not quite, but then one more quick, switches out into Umbreon. This is definitely not a good situation for us. We charge up to that Shadow Ball and then through the Poison Fang, I guess, trying to lay up double Poison Fang, or was just thinking about which move to use. But yeah, this is definitely a really bad spot for Golbat here. This is looking like a downhill slope, throws the foul play. We do get another Poison Fang off, but as you saw before, it does not do much to Umbreon at all. He's still in the green there, and this is about to go down. So, good game, and into the next battle. So we've got Golbat versus Umbreon in the lead, so switch out of there into Azumarill, which is also not a good matchup for Umbreon, but we were really hoping you would switch out. So again, he switches out into Golbat, who, when Azumarill had the energy advantage, so maybe not the best play, but does actually let that Ice Beam go through. And he's getting off the Poison Fang here, not sure if he might just let it. Nope, do shield up. So trying to keep this Azumarill nice and healthy. Gonna throw another Ice Beam. Kind of expecting a shield to come up here because I think he would be able to get to another Poison Fang. Yep, he does burn the shield. So he's gonna go in for that second Poison Fang, which he does have the energy for now. So letting this come through because it won't faint us. It will do a fair bit, but as you can see, it didn't do heaps. It's just, if you're not burning shields with Azumarill against Golbat, then you will end up losing the matchup. So throwing another Ice Beam. Golbat goes down, but no, he doesn't. So maybe that was a shield actually. Yeah, that was probably a shield, but letting that Poison Fang come through because we can faint down with a bubble, or so we thought. Yes, we can. And yeah, it was a shield, so we've got one shield. And he brings in Wigglytuff. We basically have free pickings of what to bring in. So do decide to bring in the Golbat here, going for those Poison Fangs to try and do as much damage as possible. With that shield, still we will be able to protect ourselves a little bit from that Wigglytuff's charge moves. And then we have Tyranitar in the back, which is definitely going to be good for Umbreon. Tyranitar can beat Umbreon. I think we're going to let this charge move come through because there's nothing that Umbreon can throw that's going to do masses. Last resort, you definitely don't want it to hit you. So Tyranitar tried to get that crunch off. Might decide to shield here. No, let it come through. And it was a last resort, so actually it's a fine amount of damage. Tyranitar can take it. Umbreon's charge moves really do not do much to Tyranitar. And Tyranitar, just with those smackdowns, does generally beat Umbreon in these matchups. So Umbreon throwing another charge move to make sure Tyranitar goes down, but just going to let him fall. And then in comes Golbat, who should be able to faint down with quick moves. And then we've got this Poison Fang getting off onto Wigglytuff. Even if Wigglytuff had a move coming off here though, we do still have a shield. And actually, so we switched out to Wigglytuff, which I didn't realise. But yeah, throwing this Poison Fang, and this will be GG's. And we've got Golbat versus Wigglytuff. So this is definitely an interesting lead matchup. Golbat definitely has the advantage here because the Poison Fangs will do a lot of damage. Wigglytuff really needs to burn the shields and does not charge up his charge moves very quickly. So there's that first shield showing up, and we'll see if we can get to another Poison Fang. We get to a second Poison Fang before Wigglytuff gets off one move, which is just ridiculous. And Wigglytuff does just let that come through, just throwing quick attacks. And Wigglytuff getting off a charge move here, so going to shield it up because we know as Golbat we can faint down that Wigglytuff and get switch advantage. So actually switches out into Umbreon, so we switch out to Azumarill. Definitely a misclick there, should have gone for the Tyranitar, but we'll see how this plays out. Throwing the Ice Beam, trying to burn a shield, but does not pay off. I think we're just going to let this come through because there's nothing that Umbreon can throw that's a massive threat to Azumarill. It was a last resort, bit of lag, but it looks like it was on both sides, so it doesn't matter too much. Umbreon getting off another charge move, but going to shield it up this time just to keep Azumarill a little more healthy, to get some more charge moves off onto this Umbreon, because we do not want to lose the switch advantage that we kind of messed up by switching into Azumarill. So that Ice Beam does come through, and I think I was looking to switch there, but have that Ice Beam charged up now. Whatever Umbreon throws should not faint. So yep, we're still kicking, and then I think we're going to try and bubble down, but again he switches out, so he's really throwing the switches here. As we get this Ice Beam off, this Ice Beam will finish off Wigglytuff. I'm not sure how much energy Wigglytuff had, if Wigglytuff would have even had a chance to get another charge move, but Azumarill is actually able to get another Ice Beam off onto the Golbat that he brings in here. This is really an absolutely fantastic spot. Burns that last shield, and then he's going to faint down Wigglytuff here. He has a little bit of energy, which is a bit concerning, but it's probably going to be all good because we do have the Golbat here with charge move ready. Getting that Shadow Ball off immediately, which is, again, fantastic. The opponent's got no shields, Shadow Ball goes through, and then switching out to Tyranitar, expecting maybe the Shadow Ball, which will do a fair bit to Tyranitar, but he can tank it all day long. Down goes Golbat, and then in comes Umbreon, and Tyranitar will be able to faint down with Quick Attack. So that is GG's Gym. Thanks for the battles, and on to round 3. So in round 3, we're up against Bakakakukugaba, who's got Toxicroak, Clefable, Tyranitar, Golbat, Skuntank, and Azumarill. So a pretty, very obviously meta lineup, as we've all got. And we're really thinking what to go in with here, and we do decide to go in with Toxicroak, hoping that he goes in with Tyranitar as the lead, and then if he happens to bring Toxicroak, then we've got that too. But yeah, let's just get into it. So Toxicroak, Azumarill lead. So Toxicroak has one chance to win this matchup in the 2 shield, and it will be a 2 shield because we really want to keep switch advantage. So we have to shield up the charge moves, but then we want him to shield a Mud Bomb. So we can afford to throw 2 Sludge Bombs and 1 Mud Bomb, and we will win if one of those Sludge Bombs goes through. So that is the entire game here. We want his 2 shields, one of them can be burnt on a Sludge Bomb, the other one has to be burnt on a Mud Bomb or we will not win. So throwing this second Sludge Bomb, hoping that he lets it go through, and he burns that second shield on the Sludge Bomb, so that means we will lose this matchup. We're not going to be able to get to another Sludge Bomb, and this Mud Bomb will not faint down. So Azumarill will live to see another day, and we will have to bring in another Pokemon. So he gets the charge move off, so that might have been CMP, but yeah, down we go with that Ice Beam. So good thing that he used up the energy at least, and now we'll see what we decide to bring in. Bring in the Azumarill for the mirror match. Looking like we're just going to try and bubble down. He does get this charge move off, so we'll see if it is a Play Rough or just an Ice Beam for any damage. It is the Play Rough, so, you know, it's something, but now we will be able to faint down with Bubbles, I think. Actually, going for that Ice Beam just to make sure that he can't get off an Ice Beam of his own, or if he had any extra energy, which I don't think he would, go for that Play Rough. But down goes Azumarill. We'll see what he does decide to bring back in. And he brings in Skuntank, which is an awful matchup for Azumarill. Skuntank just wrecks, basically. So throwing off this player up to try and do a little bit of damage. Does do some nice damage. Switching into Golbat again. This is not a great situation because he does switch out here. As we're getting off the Poison Fang, at least it is a Poison Fang, so this will be super effective. You know, it doesn't do heaps of damage, unfortunately, but we're going to be able to get to another Poison Fang. Clefable does charge up a little bit faster than the other pink charm user, Wigglytuff. But yeah, we've got a Poison Fang ready to go now, but unfortunately Skuntank gets his off first because he's got CMP by the looks of it, so throws that Crunch, and unfortunately we do go down. So if we only just got that charge move off, this match would go a completely different way, but just not that lucky, unfortunately, and Skuntank finishes us off with minimal HP there, and yeah, that is just unfortunate. So into battle 2. So Toxicroak versus Azumarill again. We just want him to shield a Mud Bomb. If we shield a Mud Bomb, we win the lead. So we're actually throwing the Sludge Bomb first again, hoping that he might take, you know, think it's a bait this time, but he does shield up. So that's 1-1. We just need the Mud Bomb. So I think we're going to throw the Mud Bomb next, because the first game we threw 2 Sludge Bombs in a row, he shielded 2 in a row. So now we're going to charge up to the Sludge Bomb, and then throw the Mud Bomb, really hoping that he shields here. And he does shield, so this is fantastic for us. He's got no shields, and we are going to be able to get to a sludge bomb, which will finish off the Azumarill. So we have won the lead matchup. I know it's early to call it, but we already know. I've done the sims, that is what had to happen. So we're throwing the sludge bomb here, and down goes Azumarill. So now we have switch advantage, so whatever he brings in, Golbat will faint down Toxicroak in a couple quick moves. Now we get to pick what we bring in. Unfortunately, we weren't packing Tyranitar, which would be the best thing to bring in here, so we decided to bring in Golbat. So unfortunately, winning that switch advantage didn't play out great for us, because we do have to bring in Golbat to this Golbat with energy advantage. So he gets that Shadow Ball off, and now we're charging up a little bit of extra energy, no real point. Throwing the Shadow Ball now, and then switching into Azumarill, because we know otherwise we would just lose, basically. We would lose our Golbat, and then we just have Azumarill, and he does have to throw that, Poison Fang. Switching out to Skuntank there, so really not a great situation, but no matter what happened, even if I let Golbat go down and let Azumarill come in and get an extra bubble off, not the best situation. So we throw that Ice Beam and it goes through. So we'll see what happens here. He does get the charge move off, so expecting this to faint down our Azumarill. Down goes Azumarill, Golbat comes back in, and then we're trying to charge up some extra energy, because we know the only way to win this matchup is faint down Skuntank before we can get off a charge move, which we're doing there, and then in comes Golbat, and actually the video cut off there, but I do think it was actually a tie, so it's still 1-0 to him, and then Toxicroak versus Azumarill here. So again, we just want the Mud Bomb shielded. So we're actually going to throw the Mud Bomb first here. So we moved it from the third to the second to the first here, and we'll see if he decides to shield. And yes, again he shields, so we know we have already won this matchup. Which, I mean, it's still kind of crazy to think about, that just already I know that this is won, even though it's a pretty even matchup. So yeah, we're going to go for the second sludge, or the first sludge bomb, the second charge move, which is a sludge bomb. And it doesn't matter if he shields it or not, does decide to shield it, which is actually better for us, because it means he's burning both shields. But we are also burning shields here, so you know, it can go either way. That Ice Beam, and then we're going to be going for that Sludge Bomb, which will faint down Azumarill. But he switches out into Golbat, we switch out into Tyranitar. Fantastic situation here, this is really just great. So no matter what he throws here, Tyranitar is in a good spot. Shadow Ball, doesn't matter, we're just going to keep smackdowning away, smackdown, 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 and then we've got this Crunch ready to get off onto the next Pokemon, no matter what it is, even if it is Azumarill, and it is Azumarill, so yeah, this Crunch is going to go through, which doesn't do much damage, and Azumarill's bubbles are actually going to do heaps of damage to us, but we just don't get that Crunch off, and now, I'm not sure if we're going to bring in, okay, so we bring in Azumarill to take the charge move. We've got Toxicroak in the back with charge moves ready, so it is a play rough, so maybe he's expecting that, but now he brings in Skuntank, we bring in Toxicroak with charges ready to go, so we throw this Mud Bomb, which does tons of damage to Skuntank, and then trying to get another Mud Bomb, but we just aren't able to there. They're back in Azumarill and hoping to faint down with bubbles, but not how it plays out. So we'll see how much damage this does to us. And it's a Sludge Bomb, which is really not good, but we faint down just a little bit. And then he's got Azumarill in the back, and he faints us down there. So that is GG's, and on to the next opponent. So we're 2-1, and this is the final round. We're going up against Mukablukan, MKBLKN, who's got Tentacruel, Golbat, Venomoth, Toxicroak, and Alolan Ninetales, and Alolan Muk. So double Alolan hanging at the back there. And yeah, let's just jump into it. Alright, so Tyranitar versus Alolan Ninetales in the league matchup. This is actually alright for us. It actually looks like this isn't sped up, so whoopsie doops, but that's alright. Got Mr. Mime coming in here, he's going to finish off that Toxicroak real quick. As soon as he switched out into Toxicroak, it was basically like, that guy's gone. So in comes Mr. Mime, he brings in Alolan Muk here, so this is definitely not a good situation for us. Mr. Mime really gets hard countered by Alolan Muk. So we're throwing the Shadow Ball anyway, any damage is good damage. And he actually decides to burn that shield, which is definitely best case scenario for us, because we really aren't doing much damage at all. So clearly he just isn't aware of the Mr. Mime matchups. So I think we're going to bring in Tyranitar. No, we're bringing in Toxicroak here. So we'll let this come through, hoping it's an Acid Spray. And it is an Acid Spray, so definitely good that we did not shield there. And then we are going to go for the Mud Bomb. He's going to be able to get to a second charge move, I assume. Unless he's trying to skip the Acid Spray and go for something that does a little more damage. Yeah, really sorry this isn't sped up, kind of didn't realise, but oh well, we'll live. and then throw that mud bomb. He lets it go down. In comes Alolan Ninetales, so switching into Tyranitar here, who's going to do some good damage to Alolan Ninetales. He does get the charge move off, but because we're still packing shields, we shield up, so expecting an avalanche. And it is actually Ice Beam, sorry. I think I'm too used to facing Frostlass. Like, that's kind of the ice type that I'm used to. Charging up some extra energy there, and then... Oh, actually no, we're just going for quick moves because he still had a shield, so throwing a crunch would do not much. So yeah, GG's. So again, we went Mr. Mime, but unfortunately he has the Alolan Muck in the lead, so definitely an awful start. Switch into Toxicroak to see what we can do with the situation. He switches out into Alolan Ninetales. This isn't great for us. Alolan Ninetales is definitely one of the Toxicroak counters, but we're going to throw this Mud Bomb to see what does happen, and does burn that shield, which is again a great case. If we can burn his shields with something that should be countering basically, then it's great. So Alolan Ninetales throwing this charge move. I think we're just going to let it come through. No, we actually shield. So gonna try and get another Mud Bomb off, but now we do know that his second charge move is Psyshock. Throwing the Mud Bomb off here. Man, everything's so slow after you've been watching stuff in high speed, but countering away and hoping to finish off, and we are able to finish off that Alolan Ninetales before he can get off another charge move. So he brings in a Toxicroak of his own. So we're going to be throwing the Mud Bomb because we do have energy advantage. We'll see if he decides to shield. I'm expecting the shield because Mud Bomb does do a lot to Toxicroak. And then he does shield up, and then I think we're just going to let ours go down, hoping that he uses a charge move, but he doesn't use the charge move, so definitely the right play on his part. We're going to bring in Mr. Mime, obviously, because Tyranitar would be an awful pick. So we bring in Mr. Mime, and he switches out immediately into Alolan Muck, so we switch out in kind into Tyranitar, so definitely not fantastic for him that he switched out there, or that he had to switch out basically, because we were able to switch lock him here. He gets the Acid Spray off, but I don't think it's going to turn the tide, because these smackdowns are going to do a lot of damage to that Alolan Muck. And then we're going to get this crunch off, or maybe we're going to charge up some extra. We try to get that crunch off, but he's getting a charge move off first. So let it come through, hoping it's a second Acid Spray to burn our shield. And it is a Dark Pulse, so that actually does take us out. So all of that energy we got on the crunch was wasted. But in comes Mr. Mime, luckily able to faint down with confusions there. And then back in comes Toxicroak. And because we were still holding onto our shield, and because we didn't have to use it up against that Alolan Muck, which is again fantastic, we do shield that up in case it was a Sludge Bomb or a Mud Bomb, which would actually, it might finish us off actually, but with wanting more confusion, that is it. So that's game. So I went 3-1. Congrats to my round 3 defeater, so yeah, congratulations to him, and thanks for everyone for participating again. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one, and I'll see you in the next one, where I think I'll actually be looking at some footage from Worlds, so catch you then.